What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us there as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including John Cena owns a rude fan, Randy Orton's return date revealed, WWE trying to Vince-proof creative, WWE are looking at Logan Paul to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, bad news for Bryan Danielson, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. Now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at Randy Orton's return date revealed. At top of today's news is another report concerning the return of Randy Orton. Orton, who has been sidelined since May of 2022, has been the subject of speculation for much of 2023 as fans wonder if and when the Viper will return from back surgery. As we've been reporting, rumors have been circulating that Orton will return at this Saturday's Money in the Bank PLE, and now WRKD Wrestling is reporting on the possibility. Randy Orton is expected to be nearing a return, possibly even as soon as this weekend's Money in the Bank. For more info on Orton's potential return, check out our Money in the Bank Rumors video, as well of course our coverage of the show this Saturday. Next up, WWE trying to Vince-proof its creative department. The WWE appears to have a Vince McMahon problem in creative, as multiple reports indicate he's becoming heavily involved despite past promises he was going to stay out of the weeds. As we admittedly have reported all week, McMahon reportedly made some major changes to last week's SmackDown and this week's Raw. Now a report has surfaced that WWE has been working hard to quote-unquote Vince-proof itself. However, how successful have these efforts been? According to Fightful Select, one source told Fightful that advertising matches on SmackDown 1, 2, and 3 weeks ahead on the same show could have been an effort to Vince-proof some plans on SmackDown. However, the main thing we heard, he made changes on the 5th June Raw with match orders, match times, and some quick additional segments. As for how successful these efforts have been, Fightful noted, ultimately we're told many of the matches that were promoted weeks ahead ended up happening, but we're not told if there was any reason for that. There was a ton of frustration around several changes to last week's Raw and SmackDown episodes at almost every level of WWE. Apparently Vinnie Mac is still heavily involved with Roman Reigns' storylines, and Ringside News reported WWE treats Roman Reigns' creative direction a lot differently. We are told that only a select number of people are involved with his stories, and Vince McMahon is involved in his creative and match finishes. This is probably bad news for fans hoping that Roman Reigns will drop the Undisputed Championship before he's eligible for Social Security retirement. Vince McMahon's reported increasing involvement in the promotion's creative department is a growing concern, but is there anything the WWE's creative team can do? If a recent report from PW Insider pans out, McMahon's role in creative will increase once the WWE/Endeavor merger is completed. Oh boy, we're probably going to get the great Khali back in the WWE title picture. Next up, bad news for Bryan Danielson. There's more bad news for AEW star Bryan Danielson, as his arm fracture is worse than originally thought. Danielson broke his arm at Forbidden Door, wrestling for an additional 10 minutes after breaking it. Bryan's wife Brie Bella commented, "Not sure to be proud or chastise him for wrestling 10 more minutes with this break, definitely worse than we thought. Nurse Brie ready for action." Now for those who have an image of Brie Bella in a nurse outfit now, I apologize. Well, the initial prognosis was that Danielson will be out of action from anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. That timetable is now out of the window, and there's no telling when he'll be ready to wrestle. Bryan was already dealing with nagging injuries before he competed at Forbidden Door, but we send our best wishes for Bryan Danielson for a fast and full recovery. Next up, WWE are looking at Logan Paul to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. A notable Twitter account, WRKD Wrestling, has offered some insight into the upcoming Money in the Bank pay-per-view. According to the account, there are internal pictures for Logan Paul to win the men's briefcase. While LA Knight and Damian Priest are the current favourites to win the upcoming Money in the Bank match, there have been internal pictures to give the win to Logan Paul. Some feel that Paul holding the briefcase would bring publicity and more eyes on the company. A fan favourite seems to be LA Knight, and it's likely that fans will be disappointed if LA doesn't get the briefcase. What do you guys think? Should Logan Paul win the Money in the Bank briefcase? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, John Cena owns a rude fan. And time for the latest edition of Wrestling Fans Behaving Like Asshats, as a TikTok video has gone viral showing a fan interrupting John Cena while the 16-time world champion was just trying to enjoy a meal. The video shows a fan apparently asking John to do his "you can't see me" hand motion, only for Cena to respond,
"Say again?
You can't see me, like,
How about, can I enjoy some time with my friends?"
Sorry.
This is the type of situation that paints fans in a bad light. This isn't the same as a non-fan autograph hound mobbing a wrestler at an airport with the goal of selling autographed items for a fast buck. In this case, it's a fan who should know better than to break the cardinal rule of not bothering wrestlers while they're eating. It's quite insane that some fans are defending his actions. Next up, the Judgment Day sends a message to NXT Champion. Looks like NXT Champion Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams may have to watch their backs as they've been put on notice by the Judgment Day. Last night's NXT saw Hayes successfully defend his championship against Baron Corbin, but prior to the match, Hayes and Williams were preparing for the bout when they were approached by Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley. Ripley warned the two to stay out of Judgment Day business, reminding of them when they helped Seth Rollins last week against Finn Balor when Balor tried to take out the World Heavyweight Champion following his successful title defense against Braun Breaker. Ripley cautioned the two, saying, "The next time you boys want to jump into our business, you'll become our business." But this wasn't the only time Rhea showed up, as she later mocked JC Jane backstage after Lyra Valkyrie dropped Jane. Rumor has it that the Judgment Day will be competing on NXT in the near future as the WWE continues bringing in main roster talent to boost the show's ratings. Next up, more praise for Carmelo Hayes. Speaking of the NXT champion, there's more rumors about praise for Hayes, as Better Wrestling Experience recently reported Carmelo received plenty of applause at the gorilla position for his 26 June Raw match against Finn Balor. While Hayes is tearing things up on the NXT as its champion, it seems like only a matter of time before he makes it to the main roster. The only question is how Vince McMahon's apparent growing influence on creative will affect him. Next up, Triple H stopped the star from being fired. Now, LA Knight is currently one of the hottest acts in WWE, but things were much different last year, and according to Knight, he believes he was almost fired. Speaking with Chris Van Vliet, the former Max Dupree revealed when he was almost fired, but Triple H managed to stop it. Well, let me just go ahead and say this, I'm pretty sure I was fired and it just hadn't officially happened yet. Without getting into too much details, some things happened. I don't remember what it was, but some things happened. Then I had gotten a FaceTime. "Hey, you know we want to keep you around. We want to do this, that, whatever." "Okay, cool, good." So somehow I'd been saved from being thrown off the cliff. At least this is my interpretation of it. Knight explained that playing LA Knight is easy as it's just an extension of his personality. He told Van Vliet he knows exactly when he knew his act was getting over. "I can tell you exactly. It was back in March. We were in DC and Sheamus and Drew McIntyre were in the ring. Then all of a sudden that music hit and I walked out. I remember it just kinda hit me. I was like, that's different." While Knight initially thought his reaction was because fans knew his hometown was just an hour away, things continued picking up, culminating in the incredible incident at Crown Jewel's press conference when fans began chanting his name. His popularity continues to increase, with his fans wondering just how far the WWE will push him. With Knight competing in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, they could get a better understanding after Saturday's match. Next up, a SmackDown superstar has a broken leg. A former NXT superstar Grayson Waller is on SmackDown and he's doing a bang-up job with his talk segment, The Grayson Waller Effect. However, why isn't he wrestling? Well, it turns out he's not only doing a bang-up job, but he's banged up himself, recovering from a broken leg he suffered when he battled Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. He updated fans via Twitter, saying, "In my last match against Carmelo Hayes on NXT, I broke my leg. Clean break off the fibula, because I'm straight up gangster from southwestern Sydney. I kept going and I was moments away from becoming NXT champion." He stayed true to his character, boasting, "The reality is Grayson Waller on one leg has more value than 99% of wrestlers with two. Am I just a talk show host? Now if I was, I guaranteed I'd be the greatest talk show host in the history of this company. But as good as I am on Grayson Waller Effect, as good as I am on the microphone, I'm better in the ring." Waller dismissed the fans, saying they don't need to know when he'll be back in the ring, but they'll get an answer soon. He should have plenty of opponents waiting to wrestle him, judging from all the wrestlers he's irritated on his talk segment. And finally, Batista explains why he missed the 2023 Hall of Fame induction. Last but not least, why wasn't Dave Batista inducted into the 2023 Hall of Fame? The WWE has been trying to induct Big Dave into its Hall of Fame for several years, but one thing or another comes up. You may recall Batista was scheduled to be inducted back in 2020, and that is until the pandemic reared its ugly head and the animal was asked to hold off until he could appear before the fans. Earlier this year, he said he was hopeful for a 2023 induction, but things fell through again. Batista explained things during an appearance on the YouTube channel Cool Kicks, saying, No, I was in South Africa. I was supposed to go in the Hall of Fame, but I was on this film I was committed to. I couldn't get out of it. Perhaps next year though? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.